Hot off the press, it's a fresh season of Raise Radio, where I cover important topics like spirituality and personal growth, food and healing, holistic wisdom, shamanism and the old ways, staying grounded in our tech world, and upholding humanity and the arts. In my podcast, I give you actionable strategies, light bulbs, and thought bubble moments. Thank you so much for being here and turning on my Mind, Body, and Soul show. However you show up today, you are welcome. All I ask is that you like my podcast and share, and the episode that you're listening to that you're enjoying, share it with just one friend. Thank you so much for being here. One of my favorite practices every year is near the end of the year, as we creep closer to the first week of the new year, I like to go back through my entire notebook from the year prior. I'm still in an analog world, like I still have half my life on paper, and I like that. It's really powerful to write things down, and I love going through my old notebook from the past year because I get to kind of see what are the pieces what are some things that I missed? What are some things that I wrote down that either didn't come to fruition, and why? And I kind of get this like overview of where I was for each week in the year. Now, I don't write a to-do list for every single week in the year. I try, but once in a blue moon, there are weeks that just don't get a list written down for them for whatever reason, maybe traveling or just taking some time away from my practice. So one of the pieces that was interesting was around wanting to de-Google my phone and my life. And I actually forgot that I got the help of one of my clients, a very long-term client of mine is just a tech wizard. And so I was talking with him about reclaiming my digital sovereignty. And I have 2 whole pages on all of the pieces that he helped me shift in my computer, in my phone. And I'm remembering now as I look at it, how much work it was to have a phone and a computer that felt better to me. You know, I had to find like which programs are compatible with this one that I'm using right now that I don't want to anymore. Are there programs or sites that I can clear from my life? Like I don't need to find something compatible. Maybe I can just not use this anymore or use this do this a different way. I had to figure out how to back up my Google Drive. If I wanted to de-Google my life, I had to get everything off of Google, and move it to a different place for storage. I also found the beauty that is Proton Mail. Proton Mail is for those who are interested in their digital sovereignty and privacy. It is a Swedish company that I really respected. And when I looked into them, I went, yes, that is the kind of values that I would like to be involved with. And so I feel really safe using their email platform, their drive, their storage. I really love Proton. I actually have a link in the podcast if you are inspired by my move to de-Google my phone and my computer and have things working differently and better. There's a link down below for you to explore what Proton can do for you as well. I also had a lot of different logins that used my Gmail, so I had to take those off of my computer. And this was just such a ride. It was such a tech ride to do this work. But I really believed in not having my data in places that didn't feel right to me anymore. And I also wanted the internet to look differently on my computer and my phone, it became very clear to me in the last couple years that Google, like it used to be when we went to go research something on Google that we could actually find what we needed. We could actually find that information that we needed on Google. It used to mean something. But in the last number of years, researching something on Google just now means like, well, which propaganda machine am I falling into? It became this challenge of how do I have a computer and a phone that is simpler, that is quiet, that's not screaming ads at me, all day, every day. Removing a lot of the social media platforms obviously did that. I've never been on TikTok, but TikTok is a screamer for sure. Like it will steal your energy. It will steal your attention. It is hard to get out of the app. And so removing social media, energy screamers and energy stealers like that from your phone is really powerful. And just switching to a different search engine, right? Like Google, and what it's turned into from when I first started using the internet back in like 2004 until now. Oh my gosh, that's over 20 years. It's like night and day. I personally chose, like, I don't want to be screamed at. I don't want to have ads screaming at me. I don't want to have, websites barking at me all day of what I should be buying. We are in a spiritual warfare, and social media, AI, that is a battleground in the war. Hold on to your critical thinking and never surrender it. I want a search engine that's actually going to search for what I'm searching for, not search for what can this person buy right now. And that other than falling into the propaganda machine, that's the other machine that we can fall into on the internet. There's been so many times before I made this move where I would look up something on a search engine, something related to a movie, let's say. And instead of giving me like interesting photos of the scripts of the original movie or interesting information about the characters or the costumes, instead, it would show me ads of how I could buy costumes to look like the people in the movie. But that's not what I searched for. I searched for this information. It really just became like this constant battle of like struggling so hard to find the information that I was actually looking for, because the goal of the internet is to get you to stay on it and to buy things. Now, as a minimalist, that doesn't really land with me. That's not the way that I want to live my life. And I know that shopping addictions and energy stealing, all of those purposes of this thing, those are not values that I have in my life. Like I don't value spending my money on things. I value spending my money with local places that carry the same values as me, but I don't value throwing my money around just because I can. So part of my minimalist sort of umbrella is intentionality. And there's nothing intentional about searching for information on a movie and then suddenly being pulled into, oh, well, I could, buy this costume to look like that person. That's not an intentional purchase, because I wasn't seeking an intentional piece of that person's costume to purchase. I was seeking other information and I got dragged down this other hole. So I think it's a really interesting place to be in this kind of like, it's like we're trying to transform our relationship with the internet. And I know that the internet is not a real place. Social media is not real. I remember being told that by a teacher back in 2010. She said, when you're using the internet, you have a relationship with something that's not real. And it really stuck with me and has stuck with me after all these years. And even as a society, how we've moved from having the internet be something that we use once in a while, it was like a small part of life, to now it feels like it's life, right? It feels like everything's there and we have to be there all the time. It really is a shift into, okay, so now are we doing addictions work now? Because if we're in this thing that's not real and it's not helping us, but we're in it all the time anyway, because we feel that we have to be, because that's the way life's moved. How can we have a relationship with it that feels healthy? Can we lessen our time that we're in it, that we're on it? Can we lessen our interactions with places on it that are stealing our energy, stealing our data, tracking us, and constantly trying to sell to us? Can we make some moves to switch away from that and try to take back some of our digital sovereignty? Because you are not data. You are not data. You are a human. You have a pumping heart, blood, a soul. You're not a number, and you're not data to be tracked, to be traced, and to be sold to. That is not your purpose here on the planet Earth. That is not your purpose here on Earth. So I enjoyed my ride. I enjoyed, even though it was work, I did enjoy shifting how I use the internet. This was a really helpful way for me to start shifting my relationship to the internet, because it helped it become a place again that I could just be at once in a while, instead of a place that I needed to be in all the time. So we started with, so it's like, start with your email address. Proton is an incredible Swiss company. Like, their laws are so good. It is worth paying for. It is so worth paying for. It was like, start with email address. So that had to change, had to set up forwarding, had to look at different companies, different browsers to use, different maps, apps, different search engines to use, and then looking at like where my data is now and what to do with it. And so, I had this whole list of like steps, like this is how we're going to do it. And I mean, between getting help from this client, and I also found a lot of information about it on places like Reddit, where people were talking about de-Googling your life. There's so much information about this. I'm not going to lay out all the steps that I did here, but it doesn't take long to find the information that you need if you do want to start making steps in this direction. Highly recommend. We're all on this ride together, and we're all experiencing this collapsing of our human connectedness, and we're all experiencing this ride together. It is so much a part of my mission in the work that I do in medicine work, in revitalizing culture and helping people claim their ancestors and understand the old ways and where we came from as humans. This connectedness that we all have is threatened with this constant need to be on our phones, a constant need to be sucked into the internet and tracked and sold to by it. And so it's really a spiritual battle. It really truly is a spiritual battle. And I'm for healing that collapsing connectedness. I am for, we can repair this. It's possible to repair your connection to other humans. It's possible to set your phone down and rewire your brain for people and real life, rather than this not real life in our devices. And, it's just another reminder of this cultural revitalization that's happening. I know I'm not alone in doing this. Like, I am not the only person who's recognizing what's going on, who's having conversations about it behind closed doors or on podcasts, and who's recognizing that things need to change, shifting them for myself, and then talking to other people about how they're doing that for themselves, right? This journey is going to look different for everyone, but having that moment to decide, I want to do this. I don't know exactly what it looks like yet, but I want to do it. It's no different from a wellness journey, a nutrition journey, a healing journey. It's making the decision, yep, this is something I want to do, and then slowly starting to make the moves to do that. And you deserve that. You deserve to have that. You are an intelligent, sovereign being with incredible divinity in your DNA, your body, and your heart. I love you and thank you for listening today. And I'm wishing you a most wonderful Christmas and holiday season.